G'day everyone, it's Steve Tolen from Stolen+Co, and delighted you can join us today. This is a project that has really been in the making for about 4 or 5 years, and I finally got around to actually doing it. So welcome to Change the Game, the video interviews. I'm delighted to be joined today by Simon Gould.
G'day guys, mate. Awesome to be here.
Thank you. Awesome to have you here.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe it? How we met talking about personal branding.
Indeed.
It's a clash of the titans here.
Yeah. And you've just got back from the UK, mate. How was it?
It was amazing. I went back to my hometown in Brighton, where I left when I was sort of 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Been in Sydney for 50 years, 48 years, but great to go back to the UK. London's on fire. I went back to the Brighton SEO conference, which should have been called the Brighton AI conference. Had very little sleep in the last 48 hours since I've been back, so apologies if I go off track a little bit. So yeah, a little bit jet lagged, but it's good to be home, but it was great to visit the UK.
Brilliant. And mate, we're in the boxing gym, but don't worry, there's going to be no contact here today.
I was a little bit worried.
I did actually get put through my paces there before, just to kind of get me in the mood, and they worked me really hard. But mate, just to begin, I talk about the 3 W's, the kind of the who, what, why. So rather than do a kind of a big long intro, it tells who you are, what is it you do, and why is it important, specifically salespeople, recruiters, those who are seeking to kind of grow the business. So, mate, over to you.
Digital since dial-up. I think I've been in the tech space since mobile phones, or when they were car phones, so going back to sort of 87. Invented the world's first coin-operated internet kiosk in 1996 with a mate of mine. So as I say, digital since dial-up. I've been in this space a long time, and now I run a Sydney digital marketing agency. My father, I'm a father, my son's 27, my daughter's just about to turn 9, so 18-year gap. She was born the week he finished high school, so blessed to be able to be a girl dad with the hindsight of getting my son through high school. And like yourself, big believer in building a personal brand. I think that's where technology is headed, where business is headed. I think it's really important for you to be able to stand out, stand for something, create an audience, and yeah, that's certainly how we've been building our business at Sydney Digital Marketing, by just providing thought leadership content, whether it's podcasts, whether it's videos on LinkedIn, like yourself. And we've got a bit of a story there.
We have indeed. Thank you. And I think that brings you on to a really kind of good intro. So we met in it should have been probably quite an expected way.
It was.
Do you want to tell the story? Because I think it goes to the quote that I always say, it's not who you know, it's who knows you.
It's who knows you. And we had seen each other, I think, or had a bit of banter on LinkedIn, backwards and forwards. And then one day I was walking up Martin Place, you were walking down Martin Place, you're like, Simon Gould. And I'm like, it's me, Steve.
It's meant to be.
Stolen. And I was like, I didn't recognise you, like from the, I've only seen you from sort of the top up. You've got legs. So we had a bit of a laugh, and then we connected it in real life. And I think that in itself is one of the great stories and outcomes of having a digital presence, a personal brand, is when you do meet people in real life, and they feel like they already know you. And I'm sure, you get that a lot. I certainly have been getting that a lot on my personal branding journey. Probably started about 8 years ago. I got pulled into it, kicking and screaming by my team, saying, "You've got to do video. You've got to do video." And it's worked, and it drives business, and it really builds that trust, which is really, trust is the big currency, I think, in business these days, but also for teams as well. You want to be seen as that trusted authority in your space. Yeah,
mate, I couldn't agree more. We're going to come back to that in a second, but you mentioned you just come back from the UK.
Yes.
And when we caught up prior to you going to the UK, you also just dropped in and said, "Oh, by the way, I've just fired myself," right? Which I wasn't expecting, but mate, tell us about the UK, and if you want to just explain where you're at now, I guess, with the business.
Sure. So I set up the agency in 2014. And it was myself, it was just me at the start, and then one of our clients The client was actually Ben when he was working at quite a well-known supplements business, such as Body Science. We got talking, he wanted to come on board, so Ben came on pretty much as the second employee, if you like, and we've been on this journey together for the last 11 years. Our office is, as you know, it's right in the heart of the city. Ben moved his young family up to Kingscliff, which is, as we say, God's country. It's a beautiful spot just north of Byron, but south of the Queensland border. Moved his young family up there. We've been through thick and thin together, but recently we're always looking at how we can stay relevant and reinvent ourselves, reinvent the business, and be the best that we can for our partners, for our clients. And this year, we suddenly sort of looked at where we were at and where the business was at, and we looked at who's got are we really doing what we actually love to do each day? Are our daily tasks and roles really bouncing us out of bed? We started talking about it, and I suddenly said to Ben, look, here's sort of the CEO role here, and Ben was the GM. Ben's been the GM now for about 3 or 4 years, so we're a team of 12. And so he's been the GM, running the operations. We started looking at the roles and responsibilities, and we thought, look, why don't we swap out some of these roles and responsibilities, put you into the CEO seat, and I'll take a sideways step, if you like, and just be founder, rather than founder CEO. And that, we're still in that transition stage at the moment, but I put a big LinkedIn post out there that got a bit of traction saying, I've just fired myself as CEO, and that sparked a lot of conversation with people, saying that a lot of people sort of hang on to that title as long as they can. But I just felt that where the business was at now, I needed somebody to take the reins and really enable me to come out of some of the weeds. And I think if there's a lesson that I can share with your listeners and viewers, is that just because you could do something as an entrepreneur, as a founder entrepreneur, when you're still scaling a business, I still feel we're a startup after 11 years. Right?
Nice.
But just because you've been doing it forever doesn't necessarily mean that you should keep doing it forever.
Okay.
And we looked at some of the tasks and the roles and things that I was doing. I'm like, you know what? I'm doing it because I've always done it. But I'm not actually that good. And I think, Ben, you would be better at it. So
nice.
So people are obviously the most important part of any business.
100%. I mentioned the quote before, one of my favourites. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And I know you've done some work in the recruitment space. Can you just give us your understanding of that, purely, I guess, from a marketing perspective? How can you kind of articulate that, and how does that mean in practical kind of terms?
Well, obviously, it's a spin on the old saying was, it's who you know. But now with the ecosystem, if you like, of connectivity, whether that's TikTok, whether that's LinkedIn, whether that's Instagram, whether it's YouTube, whether it's X, we have this enormous plethora of platforms and channels. So now anybody put my phone away, but anybody obviously with a device can stand in the middle of Martin Place and talk to their device and give wisdom or give their insights or their opinions or their thoughts. So that's enabled pretty much that there's no barrier to entry to somebody who's got the agency and who's got the confidence to get up and offer value to their audience or to the internet. Let's just call it the internet. And so now, as you say, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. So to me, that means if you're able to provide value and give great content and get people to engage with you, we're a perfect example. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. And you saw me in Martin Place. It's like, hey, I've seen you on LinkedIn. And obviously in the recruitment space, that is the place. That is the place to play. There's other channels as well. We might talk about those later. But I think people have become jaded with advertising. They've become, promises get made by brands. It's like, yeah, yawn, whatever. But once you put a person in front of the camera and you can say, well, actually, he's got a good point there, or she's got a good point there, or actually, that's quite interesting. And then you see them again. So it's, obviously being able to offer value, but it's also being consistent as well, so that when you pop up again in the feed, you're stopping, as we call it at the agency, you're stopping the thumb.
Yeah.
And people stop to look at what you've got, and you build a following, and off that following comes referral business, again, positions you as a trusted authority, and trust with AI and all of the developments that we're seeing right now with the ability to create content on the bus, on the ferry, on the loo, so to have that human element to connect with people it's critical. It's really critical.
And we talked about the personal brand. What's the biggest misconception that you see with people in terms of building a personal brand? I talk a lot about mindset and mastery, and I'll be brutally honest, a lot of people I think just fear that negative kind of feedback.
For sure.
Is that what you see?
I think for a lot of people, it's innate that that they're shy, they don't want to embarrass themselves. You do a great job. You just get up there and you just speak, and you've got really good engagement, hasn't it? Got really good engagement.
Jeff, the cameraman, doesn't like it. He hates it.
But I mean, but it's raw. No, but it's raw and it's authentic, and so authenticity, consistency builds trust. You're there each time. So I say to anybody who's sitting there, I don't want to coin the Nike expression, but just get out there and do it. And who cares? You know what? No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares.
We're not that important.
we're not. But we all think that. Oh, what happens if I screw it up or embarrass myself, and it's world ending. You test and learn. It's like anything. It's like going to the gym. If we got in the ring together now, I'd make an absolute fool of myself. For sure.
Mate, not after the after the session I did before. I think you'd KO me in the first thing, but
you know what I mean? It's like anything. It's training a muscle. And people say to me, I see you filming in Martin Place. Like, are you just standing there in front of your camera, in front of your phone? And I'm like, yeah. But and the first few times I did that, I used to go out with like a team of 3 around me just to sort of feel, have a bit of a buffer and make myself look like it was actually a serious production. But now you've seen me, get the tripod out, stick it up in Martin Place, a little bit more sophisticated than you. I put mine on the tripod.
I'll work my way up to the tripod.
But no, seriously, you have to, I shouldn't say you have to, but if you can try to push past that, get your first piece of content out there. Video is a huge currency at the moment, and the way that technology is moving, we're moving from search engines to answer engines, and those answer engines are built on AI. They're large language models, they're LLMs, and those LLMs are going out and they've read the entire internet, and now they're reading videos and they're looking at videos. So in order for, we've all done a ChatGPT search or Perplexity or Gemini, so how do those results get in there? Why is it that result rather than the other result? And the reason why it's that result is because of your brand has been picked up by the LLMs as a trusted authority. So you're doing video and you're getting views and you're getting likes and you're getting comments and people are putting in Google reviews and Trustpilot things. So that's becoming super important.
Trust, you've mentioned many times, and there was a phrase that I heard recently, your currency, it used to be attention, the ability to attract attention, now it's trust. So in recruitment, I'm talking specifically, 10,000 plus agencies, right? And I was engaging with a potential customer recently. We don't want our people building a personal brand, we want them representing the business.
Yes.
And they're quite defiant, like, that's it. We're not going to build them up because they may leave. My response to that is, well, if you don't develop them, they will leave. So, mate, what's your kind of thoughts on that? Because I get this constantly.
Employee advocacy. Employee advocacy.
Yeah.
So it's you're building your brand.
Yeah.
We had a partner of ours in a very well-known mid-tier recruitment company in the AEC space. We've been working together for I think almost 8 years, which is fantastic in our industry. And it took us some while to get some momentum, but now their team are out there posting, sharing, doing video themselves. So that in itself creates almost like, obviously it creates like a network effect, a ripple effect, because it's not just the founder or the CEO or the C-suite or the leadership team up there talking about the business, but it's also the employees and the team that are out there that are proud to work for that brand and proud to represent that brand. And as you say, yes, they might leave. There could be all sorts of reasons why they wouldn't want to stay, but good on the employee or the team member, because when they do go, they've built that trust, they've built that authority, and so the next employer that they go to, or it might be that they're going to set up their own shop, but the next employer, and that's been a risk forever for any business, it's not just because you're building your own personal brand. So I think employee advocacy is a huge advantage to any business, but as you say, if they're not being nurtured and they're not being respected and valued and all of the things that make a good business, a good team, then they were probably going to go anyway. But yeah, I think it's hugely important, especially in, recruitment and digital marketing agencies, sadly, have a bit of a reputation for different reasons, let's say.
Yes. Some of it's justified, maybe.
Mate, same.
Yeah, you've got to be resilient, though, right? And that's what I say. It is like being in a boxing ring.
Yeah.
It's a fight, right? You've got to deal with the blows. But I totally get it. And so it brings me on to this point. I get this all the time, and you've like, so we're confident in front of a camera, putting stuff out. You're resilient. How does someone generate trust or build trust, and not just put content out for kind of content's sake? How do you ensure?
Look, again, I said earlier, test and learn. Obviously, you don't authenticity. Personal opinions, and that can be tricky. Like some of the best engagement comes. I've seen the comments coming through on some of your posts. Personal opinions can encourage conversation, but again, it's like getting in the ring. You've got to be resilient. You've got to be prepared to have the people that are going to be the naysayers that are going to. Can we swear on this, or is it a family show? No. People that are going to put the shit. People are going to put shit on you, and people are going to disagree with you. So you've got to be able to get in there, and that can be a little bit nerve-wracking because you don't want to get involved in a public sparring thing. I had somebody jump on one of my posts a couple of weeks ago. I filmed it on a Thursday afternoon, nice and sunny. I wasn't in your manor. I was on George Street this time, and I said, it's the mum test. If your brand or your business can't pass the mum test, where you can explain it to your mum in 10 words or less, or your mum can understand it. And I just thought, everybody knows the mum test. It was a book written in like 2013. It's just about simplifying things and making things easy to understand. And somebody jumped on and said, I think that's a bit discriminatory. And I was like, I love my mum. Like, I would never say anything bad about my mum, and I didn't mean it in a derogatory way at all. So I had to really go away and think, well, how do I, in today's world, how do I reply to that? Because I wasn't going to just leave it hanging there. And for anybody on their content journey, you do need to engage with all of your comments and conversation, even if it's just a thanks. People have taken the time to engage with you. You should engage back with them. To the point, some of those situations can be tricky, can prevent people from wanting to.
And don't take it personally, right? Like,
and don't take it personally.
You've got to
stroll on.
100%.
Stroll on.
I think when I even talk about my own journey when I did the first video, I remember asking one guy feedback, and he said, I won't swear, but he said, I effing hate them. And I was a bit like, whoa. And then he paused and went, I couldn't do it, is what I meant.
Yeah.
And then when I looked and seen, and you know this, right? It's like people said to me, now you're like the LinkedIn guy, the video guy. It's the consistency that kind of pushes through.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So you have to get used to it. You have to have that kind of thick skin.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
And funny, to your point, you know, you're the LinkedIn guy. I've got one on my skateboard in Martin Place, my electric skateboard.
I can't do the skateboard, mate. I can't do it. Can't do it. I've got the balance.
And I've had literally, I was walking into the office the other day, and somebody just literally just comes striding up towards me and goes, "You're that skateboarding guy on LinkedIn, aren't you?" And so, again, being consistent, you suddenly get that, you start to get recognised.
Yeah.
So, if that's what you want, and you are trying to, at the end of the day, you're giving value.
Yeah.
You're also trying to drive business.
Yeah.
You know, you give away. You know, what was Gary Vee's thing? Was it jab, jab, and a hook or something? I'm probably talking the wrong language in here. So, yeah, you do need to be, you need to be consistent. I think you need to, by being consistent, you become memorable, and then that is going to build that trust, and then that in turn is going to attract, let's call it opportunity, because it could be that you're looking for a role, you know, or it could be that you're looking for leads.
Yeah, fair enough. You talk about leads. How do you turn marketing into a lead gen machine?
That is the $100 billion question.
Okay.
Brand.
Yeah.
Having a strong, trusted brand that is consistent.
Yeah.
Like the video thing, it's the same thing. So you build yourself a trusted brand. You need to be very clear. You start with your audience. You know, who's your who?
Yeah.
Who are we serving? What are their pain points? What are their challenges? What's keeping them up at night?
Yeah.
That you can talk to very clearly with a clear message. So build your, in the industry, you know, in the business we call it personas. You know, it's building 2 or 3 personas, and you understand them intimately, so that you can then, with your marketing message, you can talk to that problem, talk to their challenge, talk to their pain points, then also be able to come to solve those pain points with empathy. So you go, we've been in this game for X, Y, Z. We know that people like you are kept up at night with this particular problem. Here's the authority piece, and we know how to solve that for you. So, long story short, you know, speak with us. But a lot of the misconception around lead gen is that people think, oh, it's the internet. How hard is it? It's Facebook. I'll just put an ad on there, and they will come, and the phones will be ringing hot, or the email box will be pinging.
Yeah.
Why doesn't that happen? Because we call it the message to market match, and that's not my line. That's Dan Kennedy. That's Dan Kennedy, who's literally, I call him the Colonel Sanders of marketing. He's very, very smart guy out of the States. But if your message is off, or you're talking to the wrong market, and you're going out there instantly expecting somebody to buy from you, then you're going to be disappointed, because you have to build that trust. You've got to get your brand out there. This is what we do. So there's, you know, the funnel doesn't really work anymore. There used to be a traditional marketing funnel, top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel, and then advocacy. But now, you could be lying in bed at night, you could see something on Instagram, you could go and check out their website. The next day you might see a bus ad and you go, oh, that's that thing again, and then you get to your office and you go and look at it on the internet, and then you go and look at some reviews. Also, not on the internet, on your computer, you go and look at some reviews, so that there's no linear journey anymore. So what that means from a lead gen perspective is you have to be, again, clear on your audience, clear on your message, but also you need to be wherever, you've got to meet your customer where they are.
Yeah.
And that could be TikTok, that could be LinkedIn, it could be email marketing. And so the way that we work at Sydney Digital is by beginning with this top of funnel approach, where it's just a hello, you know, talk about the dating scene or the bar scene. You know, you've seen someone across the bar 3 or 4 times. You go to the same bar. You don't walk up to them. Well, not in my world, but you don't walk up to them on the first go. Hey, let's go for a date.
Yeah.
You know, there's a bit of eye contact. There's a bit of like, oh, I've noticed you a few times. Yeah. And then maybe on the 4th or 5th time, you might go up and buy a drink and have a bit of a chat, and then you might go on a date, and then you might go on a second date.
So I talk about 1 to 8 touch points to make a sale, which is exactly where you're kind of going to on that, and sticking on the point about authenticity. And I get this quite a bit. So I did a post today, and I've been talking specifically about the recruitment industry. I said those that are winning right now are adapting to technology. They're using AI or automation to allow them to have more time to speak, and do the stuff, the high value stuff, the high ticket stuff. And I get this, but I don't have time to put content out and this, that, and the other. So what would you say to people who go, I don't have time to kind of do this, you know, and they turn it into this big, overbearing kind of thing. So that, you know, what would you say to people who say, I don't have time to do this?
It does take it. Look, it takes, like anything good, it's an investment.
Yeah.
You've got to invest. You do have to invest the time in it. You know, you wouldn't put $1,000 into something and expect to get $10,000 back immediately.
Yeah.
We're talking figuratively here, but you know, you get the picture. So yeah, it is an investment. You need to come up with the idea, or maybe you might come up with a series of ideas. What we suggest to our clients and what we do ourselves is we go, right, this month, here are the 3 or 4 topics that we want to talk about. Or maybe it's one topic, and we break that topic, we chunk that topic down into 4 or 5 pieces. Ideate your idea, talk to the pain points so that you're giving value. You want to be able to give people some actionable insights. And not only that, if you're investing the time into that one piece of content, another great content creator, sorry, brain.
No worries,
Can't remember the name.
Don't stress.
But he says, create once, distribute forever.
Yeah.
So you can take a video, and now with all of the AI tools out there, you can take a video, you could turn that into some shorts, you could turn that into just a LinkedIn post, you could turn it into a carousel, or, you know, like a slideshow. You could turn it into a 12-page